Crosspatch. Skarloey made a face. "Not again, Nancy, please." "Just a teeny polish," she coaxed. "You must look nice for your 100th birthday." "I am nice. You're just a fusspot, and you're a horrid old crosspatch." Nancy polished him vigorously. Skarloey smiled. "Nancy," he said, "I really was a crosspatch once. Shall I tell you?" "Yes, please." "Well, come down. I can't tell it properly while you're fussing up there." "Just 5 minutes, then. No longer." Nancy sat down on a box, and the old engine began. Tally-Flynn, Dolgoch, Renias and I were built together in England. "Who?" asked Nancy. "A Tally-Flynn and Dolgoch?" "Tally-Flynn is my twin. Dolgoch is Renias's. Their railway is at Towyn in Wales, and they're 100 too. They were green, and we were red. Tally-Flynn and I had 4 wheels then, and no cab. We thought we were wonderful, and talked about how splendid we'd look, pulling coaches." "What about trucks?" asked Nancy. Skarloey chuckled. "We had no use for them," he said. "I was finished first, and sent away on a ship. I didn't like that. It wobbled dreadfully. At the port, the big railway kept me waiting. They had no cranes to lift me out. It wasn't the Fat Controller's railway then. He would have managed much better." "What did they do?" asked Nancy. "They used the ship's derricks. They nearly turned me upside down," said Skarloey indignantly, "and left me hanging while they arranged a truck." "You must have looked funny," gurgled Nancy. "Yes, and I felt it too. I got crosser and crosser. They fastened me to the truck at last, and an engine took me away. His name was Neil. He was ugly, but kind, and we were soon friends. 'So you're bound for the wee railway,' he said. 'Ye must put some order into those trucks. The havens they make you'd hardly believe.' I didn't like the sound of that, but I was too tired to say anything. Plenty of people were waiting when we got there, but they weren't used to engines, and it was dark before I was on my rails. Then they left me, lonely and unhappy, and wishing Renias would come. Trucks were everywhere next morning. Suddenly, with a rattle and a roar, a train of loaded ones came in. I was surprised. 'There's no engine,' I said. A workman laughed. 'They've come down by gravity,' he said. 'The empty ones need pulling up, though. That's why you've come.' 'But can't they go up by whatever it was you said?' 'Gravity only brings things down. We need horses, or engines like you, to pull 'em up.' 'What? Have I to pull trucks?' 'Of course.' 'I won't. I want coaches.' He just laughed and walked away. Soon Mr. Mack, the manager, arrived with some men. He showed them my parts from a book. 'We're going to steam you, Skarloey,' he said. 'Can I pull coaches, sir?' 'No, certainly not.' I gave him such a look. They didn't understand engines, so it was easy. My fire wouldn't burn, and I made no steam. I just blew smoke at them. They called me bad names, but I didn't care. Next day they tried again, and the next, and the next. I just gave them my look, and wouldn't do a thing. At last the manager said, 'Very well, be a crosspatch. But we're not going to look at your sulky face all day. We'll cover you up and leave you till you're a better engine.' They did too," chuckled Skarloey. "They fetched a big tarpaulin and covered me right up. I didn't like that at all." "I think it served you right," said Nancy severely. "Never mind her, Skarloey. Please tell us what happened next." Nancy turned in surprise. A group of people had quietly come up to listen while Skarloey was telling her his story. I was lonely and miserable, Scarlowy continued, till at last the manager came. I hope now that you're a better engine. Oh, yes, sir, please, sir, because I've asked Mr. Bobby to come and look after you. Mr. Bobby had helped to build me in England. I liked him, so we soon had steam up. Come on, Scarlowy, he said. We must help the workmen finish the line before the inspector comes. I didn't mind pulling trucks with Mr. Bobby, and we worked so hard that by the time Renias arrived, the line was ready. Renias never got so excited and bouncy as I did. He worked without hurry or fuss. Trucks often played tricks on me to make me cross, but they soon found that teasing Renias was a mistake. He was shunting one day when I came alongside. I was excited. I'm pulling the director's train, I said, and taking the inspector tomorrow. Think of that. Renias pondered. You mind your bucks and bounces then, Scarlowy, he said at last. The directors won't like them. Pooh, I snorted, and bounced away to fetch the coaches. Peep, peep, I whistled. Hello, girls. Who is it? Agnes's deep voice echoed from the back of the shed. It's an engine, whispered Beatrice, the guard's van. He's come to take us out. Beware of strange engines, warned Agnes. We must be on our guard. Our guard has just come, giggled Beatrice. Jemima and Ruth, the other coaches, sighed with relief. I pulled them all happily to the station. Agnes, still suspicious, kept muttering, be on your guard, be on your guard, but I was too excited to listen. It might have been better if I had. I was sizzling with excitement as I ran round and backed down on Agnes. It's fun, I chortled. You may look harmless, she whispered, but we'll watch you. We'll watch you. She took me quite aback. But even Agnes couldn't complain about our upward journey. We stopped at every station, and the directors got out to admire the arrangements. Everything went well. I forgot about Agnes, and the manager, smiling, joined us on the footplate for the journey home. It looks so easy, Mr. Bobby, he said, as we rolled gently down. Can I drive him, please? We were running nicely. First rate, I hissed happily, gaining speed, and all unknowing, I began to bounce. The manager, alarmed, closed my regulator, too quickly and too much. Agnes's buffers clashed. He's playing tricks. Bump him, girls, bump him. They surged against me, urging me on. I bounced and lurched. I couldn't help it. The manager lost his footing, grabbed wildly for a handhold, and disappeared. Beep, 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 brakes, guards, please. Mr. Bobby seized my controls, stopped the train and looked back. Two legs waved wildly from a bush. The manager was unhurt, but very cross. I'll not ride that bucking bronco again, he said. He sat in Beatrice for the rest of the journey. The directors complained they'd been badly shaken. They said it was my fault. Renias will take the inspector tomorrow, they ordered. You will stay out of sight in the shed. But late that evening the manager came. I'm sorry, sir, I did try to be good. It wasn't your fault, Scarlowy. I'm sorry I was cross. We must do what the directors say now, but I'll make it up to you later. The inspector was pleased with Renias. You've done very well, he said kindly, for a new engine. He told the directors about some improvements which were needed. But, he went on the whole, your arrangements are good. He came to see me, and the directors told him what they thought had happened. I think, gentlemen, he said, that you are mistaken. Scarlowy should prove to be a useful engine, but he needs another pair of wheels. Take my advice and have them fitted. Then you'll see the difference. Good day.